येनाक्षरसमां नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्चज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। अज्ञानान्धस्य लोकस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। In yesterday class, we discussed these sutras: Ami Purvaha, Samprasaranacha, Engah Padantadati, Gnasignasohcha. Today we shall continue from Rutavut up to Ashicha. Rutavut, Ketyat Parasya, Atororaplutate, Ashicha. These four sutras we are going to study in today's class. The first sutra is Rutavut 61111. Rutaha Ut. Rutaha is Panchami Ekavachana, Ut is Pratama Ekavachana. The Anurutya of Ati, because there is no word in Saptami in the sutra. Ati from Yenga Padantadati. Gnasignasoho from the previous sutra, Gnasignasohcha. So, Anvaya, Rutaha Gnasignasoho Ati, Purva Parayoho Ekaha Ut. It means Rutaha, it is in Panchami, so Purva Parayoho Gnasignasoho Ati Ut. This is the last sutra of Purva Parayoho Adhikara. This Adhikara ends here. Ru plus Gnasi or Gnas, the Drusha Rupa of both the Pratyas is As. So whenever Rukaranta words are followed by this Gnasi or Gnas Pratyaya, then there will be Purva Parayoho Ekaha Uttu. Actually, eco energy is applicable here, but by blocking eco energy, we get Rutavut. So we get Ru plus As is equal to U. But we are getting this U in place of Ru. So we have to remember the sutra Urandraparaha. So whenever An letters come in place of Ru, they come along with Refa. So this U is a An letter, it comes in place of Ru. So Refa comes along with this An letter. So it is Ur. Ru plus As, both combined to form Ur. Consider the example of Matru, Panchami and Shashti Ekavachana Vibhakyanta form for the Pratipadikam Matru. Here Matru ends with Ru and it is followed by Akara of Gnasi or Gnas Pratyaya. In this stage, we have the applicability of this sutra. So both combined to form Ur. Then by Rat Sasya, we discussed this sutra. Sanyogantasya lopaha Rat Sasya. By Sanyogantasya lopaha, if there is Sanyoga at the end of a pada, it is a pada because the whole component ends with a supratyaya. So it is a subantam and therefore it is a padam. So the Sanyoga is at the end of a pada. By Sanyogantasya lopaha, there should be a deletion of Sakara. But by Rat Sasya, only Sakara will be deleted after Refa, not other letters. So here we have Sakara. So by Rat Sasya, that Sakara gets deleted. So Mat plus Ur. Then Refa is present at the end of the Pada. So there is a sutra. Kar avasana yor visarjaniyaha, by which Refa which is present at the end of a pada, and if it is not followed by any other letters, we call that as avasana. Avasana means there is no letter or words after that. Avasane रेफस् दिस् रेफस्य विसर्गादेशः भवति. मातुः. मातुः इति मातृप्रातिपदिकस्य पञ्चमी तथा षष्ठी एकवचन विभक्त्यन्त रूपम्. दलकृत्यं ऋतः इति किम्? Why that takara is added for ru? Because this is applicable for only rasva rukaranta word. This is not applicable for dirgha rukaranta words. So that takara is added to restrict the sutra to rasva ru by taparastat kalasya. Here consider the example of through plus as. This through is a dhatu. It ends with dirgha ru. I am I am deriving the panchami or shashti ekavachana pratyayanta form for this dhatu. So this ends with dirgha ru plus a. So at this stage this sutra is not applicable because of the rutaha, that because of the takara. So by koenachi we have rukarasya repa achipare. So it is traha. Traha is the form. Takarasya visargah. Gnasignasoho iti kim? So this sutra is applicable for only gnas and gnasi pratyayas. So consider ne pratyaya. This is chaturthi ekavachana pratyaya ne. This matru ends with rasva rukara, but there is no gnas or gnasi pratyaya in front. So this sutra is not applicable. This is applicable only for these two pratyayas. So here also by koenachi rukarasya repaha and it is matre. Ut iti kim? Why takara in the sutra? What is the problem with only u? Ruta u. Here we have ru plus a. We get ru. Purva parayoho. We have this sutra anudit savarnasya cha pratyayaha. Cha pratyayaha refers to here cha apratyayaha. It means if it is an adesha, then this and letter will not represents or it will not bring all its savarnas. Here who is an adesha. Anyway, since this is an adesha, there is no need of taparakaranam. This takara is not needed, but still it is done. We have this paribhasha. Bhavyamanaha api ukaraha savarnan gruhnati. It means even if ukara is an adesha, still it represents or it carries or it brings its savarnas. It represents its savarnas is the meaning of this paribhasha. But I don't know the applicability of this paribhasha in other sutras. Maybe there may be some cases. Right now I don't know. But by this paribhasha, this ukara can represent all its savarnas, but we don't want the dirgha pluta versions of this ukara. We want only rasva vu. So to restrict the adesha to rasva vu, we have takara here in this sutra. So anudit savarnasya cha pratyayaha is not applicable in case of who as an adesha. So we have matuhu. So yeah, this is about rutavut. Whenever rasvaru is followed by gnasi or gnas pratyaya, then purva and para will combine to form ur, the true and a. And as I told, purva parayoho ekaha. This adhikara ends here. The next sutra is ketyat parasya 112. Padacheda ketyat kya tyat. This is panchami ekavachana of ketya parasya shashti. Okay. Usually in Sutra Pata, whenever there is some adhikara, most of the times the range of the adhikara will not be told by the sutra. So we have to depend on commentaries to know up to which sutra that adhikara runs. So Purva Parayoho, that adhikara ends in the previous sutra. From this sutra, there is no Purva Parayo, Eka Purva Parayoho. And we have one clue here, Parasya, the word Parasya. This Parasya is in Shashti. Since it is in Shashti, it is the Sthani. We were getting Panchami and Saptami up to the previous sutra. We have Shashti here. Shashti represent Sthani by Sthane Yoga. So, whatever the Adesha that comes in place of the Sthani, that is this Parasya. Ut comes as Anudesha, Anurutti from the previous sutra, and Nasignasoho comes as Anurutti from the Nasignasohcha. There, that Nasignasoho was considered to be in Saptami. For the sake of this sutra, the same word from the same sutra is considered to be in Shashti, Vivachana. So, Ut Nasignasoho, because it has to qualify Parasya. So, Parasya is in Shashti, so it is also taken in Shashti. So, Anvayaha of the sutra, Kyatyat Parasya Gnasignasoho Ataha Ut. That Eka Purva Parayoho is not applicable from this sutra onwards. So, Kyatyat Parasya Gnasignasoho Ataha Ut. It means Kyatyat. Kyatyat means if this Shabda Rupa Kya or Tya after this word, Parasya means after this, Gnasignasoho At, the akara of Gnasi or Gnas Pratyaya. Ut, here Sthani is this akara of this Hassa. So this U comes in place of this akara, not Eka Purva Parayoho. Anyway, there is no swara here. Parasya Gnasignasoho Ataha Ut. So it means this Q will remain unaffected. This akara will be converted into ukara by this sutra, Ketya Parasya. Consider the case of Q plus As. Saki, the Panchami or Shashti Vibhakyanta forms for Saki, Ikaranta Shabda. Here, at Saki plus As, we have the scope for Iko Enachi. We can't apply any other sutras here. So, by Iko Enachi, there will be Ikarasya Yakara Adesha. Now, this Shabda Rupa or this Shabda ends with Q. So, by this Ketyat Parasya, this U gets converted in, this A gets converted into U. So, it is Sakyu plus Us, Sakyus and Sakarasya Visargaha, Sakyuhu. Sakyuhu is the Panchami and Shashti form of the Saki. Similarly, for Tia, consider the word Pati. By Koyanachi, we have Ikarasya Yakaraha. Now, this ends with Tia followed by As. So, here Akarasya Ukaradeshaha Bhavati. Varnamelanena Patyuhu iti Antimam Rupam Siddhyati. Patyuhu. This is about Ketyat Parasya. The next sutra is Atoror Aplutad Aplute. Atoror Aplutad Aplute 61113. Ataha is in Panchami. Roho is in Shashti. Aplutad is in Panchami. Aplute is in Saptami. Ut and Ati comes as Anuruti from the previous sutras. So the complete sutra: aplutatah aplute ati roho uttu. Aplutatah, it should not be apluta. Ataha means rasvakara. Once we represents this akara by at, it represents only rasva, it doesn't represent apluta. Still we have this word apluta and also aplute in this sutra. I don't go into details of that because it is related to asiddhatvam. So and at this stage understand that whenever there is rasvakara, after that there should be ru, then after that there should be again rasvakara. Aplute ati, this is saptami, this is panchami. Roho is in shashti, so it is here. Uttu, so roho uttu, ru becomes u. Roho is the shashti ekavachana of ru. Guru becomes guru, like ru becomes ro. This ru should be present between two rasva akaras, then this ru will be converted into u. Ataha ati uttu. So when we were discussing about panchami, purvanimitta and paranimitta, we discussed some cases where purvanimitta and paranimitta are required. Both purvanimitta and paranimitta are required, like the sutras alo yamam yami lopaha. This is one such example where we require both purvanimitta as well as paranimitta for the adesha to be placed in sthani. Okay, consider this example: danyaha asmi. Actually danyaha is pratama eka vibhakti form of danya, so that can be written as danya su asmi. Here we know that ukara is it and it gets deleted. There is this sutra sasajushoruhu 8-66. By this sutra, this is the sutra sasajushoruhu. These are the some sutras which give the adesha ru. By this sutra han, this word gets ru adesha, like that. These are some of the sutras. So one of them is sasajushoruhu. By this sutra, the sakara and sajush, these two get ru adesha. So this sakara at the end of a pada will get ru adesha. Now this word danya ends with rasvakara and this word asmi starts with rasvakara, and this ru is present in between these two rasvakara. But the problem is this sutra sasajushoruhu is in tripadi 8-66. These two, the second, third and fourth of 8th chapter, they form tripadi. So once we apply this sutra, tripadi sutra, we are not supposed to apply the sutras from sapada saptadhyayi. That is what asiddha is, because purvatra asiddham. This sutram purvatra asiddham. But if you don't apply atoro apluta aplute at this stage, then we cannot apply atoro apluta aplute in any cases, because this ru will be generated from the sutras of tripadi only. No sutra of sapada saptadhyayi generate this ru, and we have this sutra in sapada saptadhyayi. So by sutra nirdesha samarthyat, by the very presence of the sutra in sapada saptadhyayi, we consider all the sutras. I told now these sutras which give ru adesha as siddha with respect to the sutras of Sapada Saptadhyayi. So we have U, Roho, Ut by this sutra. Atoro Raplata Raplate. So Ru will gets converted into U. Now we have Ru converted into Hu. We have Akara followed by Ukara. Once we apply this Atoro Raplata Raplate, this sutra is anyway present in Sapada Saptadhyayi. This is not asiddha to Ad Gunaha. So Ad Gunaha is applicable here. A plus O, it becomes O. Now we have O plus A. This Danyo is a pada. Padantad Yeng letter followed by At Rasvakara. Then by Yeng Padantadati we have Purva Rupa Adeshaha. O plus A becomes O. So we have Dhanyosmi. So let us consider the Dalakrutyam of the sutra. Tima Su Asmi. So Pratama Vibhakti Ekavachana form for the Pratipadikam Sima. Here Ukara gets deleted. At this stage, we have the scope for Hal Gnabhyo Dirgha Sutisya Pruktam Hal, because this is an Apanta word and this ends with Dirgha letter. So at this stage, this Aprukta Supratyaya gets deleted by this sutra. So that gets deleted. Once that gets deleted, there is no scope for Ru Adesha, and by Akasavarna Dirgha we have Simasmi. But we should give an example where that Ru is present, but since there is no Rasvakara, we are not going to apply this sutra. Consider the example Muni Su Asmi. This Muni is the Pratama. Muni plus Su is the Pratama Ekavachana. That Sakara gets deleted, and here this Sakara is not deleted by any sutras. So by Sasaj Shoruhu, it gets converted into Ru, because that Muni, this whole thing, Muni plus Muni is a pada. The Sakara is present at the end of the pada and it gets converted into Ru. At this stage, we have E followed by Ru, which is followed by Akara. We have Akara, but we have Ru, but it is not preceded by Rasva Akara. It is Ikara here. So this sutra will not be applicable here. So in Ru, that U is it letter. So only Refa remains, that U gets that Anunasika U gets deleted. So Muni plus R plus Asmi, Muni Rasmi. By combining the letters, we have Muni Rasmi. Munihi Asmi, Muni Rasmi. The presence of Anunasika Ukara as it. The purpose of that Ukara as it is to use the whole Ru in the sutra, Atoro Raplata Daplute. Otherwise, for the cases like Muni Rasmi, it is not required. For this sutra only, this Ukara is required. So that any other Ru, that I will come to that point later. Aplute Ati Tikim. Why? Rasvakara. Consider Rama Su Asit. Saka then Itlopa. Here Sakarasya Rutvam. Here we have Rasvakara this side and we have Ru, but it is not Rasvakara here. So again this sutra is not applicable. But there is one sutra, Bho Bhago Abho Apurvasya Yoshi in Tripadi 8317, by which Apurvasya if there is akara before ru, then that gets converted into yakara in presence of ash letter. Any ash letter. Ash means starting from a even roluk evang ayavch ayavart lan nyamangananam jabain gadadash jabagadash up to there. If any letter comes here, then this ru will be converted into yakara. By this sutra, even if rasvakara is present here, this sutra is applicable, but this atoro apludad aplute is an exception for this sutra. So it blocks go bago apurvasya yoshi, and it is applied atoro apludad aplute if there is rasvakara here. Other than if rasvakara, if any ash letter is there, then rukaras this ru ityasya yakara deshah bhavati yaha ashi. And we know whenever there is yakara which is present at the end of a pada, and if it is followed by an ash letter and preceded by rasvakara or dirghakara, we have the scope for lopa shakalyasya, by which that yakara or vakara, if it is vakara, they get deleted. So Rama asit. Once we apply lopa shakalyasya, we cannot apply akasa varne dirgha here, since lopa shakalyasya is asiddha to akasa varne dirgha. We have to write like this only, Rama asit. Why roho in the sutra? Because this roho is the shashti ekavachana form of ru. So we have to have ru only before and after. No, ru only in between that two rasvakara. If consider this example of punar plus api, in this case, this refa is not generated or it is not derived because of this ru adesha, which is which we get from the Tripadi Sutras. It is present originally in the word itself. The word is punar. So in this case, this sutra is not applicable. Here, these two rasvakaras are present, but this refa is not from ru. So at this stage, this sutra is not applicable. So by combining the letters, we have punarapi. Okay, the next sutra is ashicha. Ashicha means this ukaradesha will be there even when there is ash letter. Ashicha, ataha, roho, aplutad, with all these come as anurutti from the previous sutra. Only that ati, instead of ati, we have ashi. So that roho ut is applicable when there is rasvakara ati or ashi. There should be rasvakara or there should be ash letter. Aplutadataha ashi roho ut. Aplutadataha. There should be rasvakara. Then there should be ru. Then it should be followed by ash letter. Ash letter means from starting from ayavarat ha up to jabagadash. Ayavarat lan jamangananam jabain gadadash jabagadash. Up to there, all these letters are also called as mrudu venjanani. The third, fourth, and fifth venjanas of each varga, and yavarala, then ha. These letters are called as mrudu venjana, and they are represented by the pratyara hash. So if anyone among those ash letters is present after this ru, ga is a ash letter here. So there is rasvakara followed by ru, which is followed by ash letter. Then also there will be roho uttu. So this ru will be converted into u. Now we have the scope for At Gunaha, A plus O. So A plus O becomes O. So we have Ramo Gachati. There will not be any sandhi between O and Ga, Gakara. So it is Ramo Gachati. Aplutat Ataha iti kim. Rama Gachati. Here we have Rama. That Su Pratyaya will be deleted by the sutra. Hal Nyabhyo Dirgha Sutisya Pruktam Hal. So anyway, there is no Ru here. Consider one more case. Muni plus Su. Here we have Ru followed by Ash letter, but there is no At letter, Akara, Rasva Akara before Ru. Here we have E instead of A. So then there will not be application of the sutra. By combining the letters, we get Munir Gachati. Munir Gachati. Ashi iti kim. There should be Ash letter after Ru. You see, Rama plus Ru plus Ta, Tarati. Here we have Rasva. Here we have Ru. But this Ta is not a Ash letter. So the first and second letters of each varga and the Sha, Sha, Sa, those letters are covered by Khar Pratyara. They are also called as Karkasha Vyanjanani. So if Khar letter is present here, then this sutra is not applicable. At this stage, there will be application of this sutra. Kar avasanayo visarjaniyaha. Kar avasanayoho. This is Saptami. Whenever there is Kar letter here, the Ru will be converted into Visarjaniya. Visarjaniya is another name for Visarga. So this Ru will be converted into Visarga. And by the next sutra, next means the later sutra in the same pada, Visarjaniyasya Saha. This Visarga will be converted into Sakara whenever there is, if this Visarga is followed by Kar letter. So it is Ramastarati. Roho iti kim. Again, as we discussed in case of Atoro Raplatada Prate, this Ru should come from those Tripadi Sutras. Punar plus Nirmanam. Here we have Rasvakara, we have Ash letter, but the Trefa is not from Ru. So we don't have the Prasakti of this sutra. Punar Nirmanam. Okay, this is about those 4 sutras, and these sutras find wide applicability in the language. So we have to focus or understand well these sutras. In yesterday's class, while explaining Amipurvaha, I told whenever there is Rukara followed by Pratyaya, there will be application of Prutogni Sarvanamastana Yoho by blocking Amipurvaha, since this is Varnakarya and this is Angakarya. And if this Rukara is not from a Pratipadikam, or if this is not Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachana Pratyaya, then this Rukara and plus this can undergo Purva Rupa Adesha. I told like that, and I tried to get some examples for that case, but I could not. Consider this example. Smru plus Mip in Lang Lakara. Smru is the Dhatu, Mip is the Uttama Purusha Ekavachana Pratyaya. Patami, like that we tell, no? That word Mip. This Mip is the Uttama Purusha Ekavachana Pratyaya. For this case, we have Adagama in Lang Lakara, and Smru and Shap Vikarna Pratyaya will be there for Sarvadhatuka Lakaras. Lang is a Sarvadhatuka Lakara. Mip is the Pratama Kshamitam Uttama Purusha Ekavachana Pratyaya. By deleting the letters, we get from At we get A, from Shap we get A, from Mip we get Mi. We have this sutra. Tastasta mipam tan tan tamaha 34101. By this sutra, tas will be converted into tam, thas madhyama purusha dvivachana. That pratyaya will be converted into tham, tha madhyama purusha bahuvachana. That tha will be converted into ta, and mip will be converted into in case of nit lakaras means lung with a ling, lung and lung. In those lakaras, this me will be converted into by this sutra. So we have here. I add this dhatu, but this vikarna pratyaya comes in between these two, and ru. So there is no scope for amipurvaha here also. Even if there is no akara here, we have gunadesha of this dhatu by sarvadhatu karda dhatu kayoho. Anyway, we don't get this rukara at the end of this word because that was a angakarya blocks varnakarya. Even if it is smar plus some, then also amipurva is not applicable. So anyway, here we have the we have the scope for application of amipurvaha. Is you see this a is from vikarna pratyaya, this is from it is the mip adesh, the adesha which has come in place of mip. Here this is not a pad. Whether it is a pada or not a pada, it doesn't matter. Here akara which is followed by so by amipurvaha, this purva akara comes as adesha. But this is not the case what I was supposed to explain. I was supposed to explain ru followed by which is not a dvitiya vibhakti ekavachana pratyaya. But I could not get such examples. So we have asmaram as the final form of this dhatu. Okay, this is about this yesterday sutra. धन्यवाद.